Hello YouTube and welcome to my new toy review. And this time we're gonna take a look at the oversized WeiJiang Highbrow figure from the Titan's Return line. Highbrow has never been my favorite figure. I didn't really like the original figure in this line, and to tell you the truth, I'm not a big fan of the G1 original figure either, hence I don't even have him. So unfortunately I cannot show a comparison with that figure, but I will try to show the differences between the oversized knockoff figure and the original Hasbro figure. Right off the bat, you can already see there's a huge height difference. The oversized figure is Voyager sized, whereas the Hasbro is just a deluxe sized figure. Other than that, they seem pretty similar. There's minor paint differences going on with the two figures, and there are actually a couple of improvements on the WeiJiang knockoff. But with that said, there's also a couple of bad points too. So let's go through those and take a look at that. Well, first of all, one of the things I really like about the original figure is the guns. I really like this gunmetal gray colored guns, and they are actually painted. Unfortunately, the WeiJiang figure doesn't come with painted guns, so the ones you see here were painted by me, and I didn't do a very good job of that, I admit. I'm planning to do another layer of painting with them. I was trying to go for the gunmetal color like the original one, but originally these guns were just the same kind of blue as the body. The WeiJiang figure comes with a weird WeiJiang symbol because they cannot use the Transformers symbols obviously on these knockoff figures. I don't like that symbol at all, but to remove that I think you would kind of need some kind of a paint removal because it's painted on here on the chest, so I just went for the easier approach. I just placed a complete white sticker on the chest and put an Autobot symbol there. You can see the molded details below the white sticker, like this circle here. They are all present on the WeiJiang. I just didn't want to bother using chemicals to remove that weird symbols, so I just covered the whole thing up with a sticker. Other paint differences, obviously the crotch is blue on the WeiJiang, whereas it is white on the original, and I have to add that this is a painted white, and because of the transformation you can already see there are some paint chippings right there and there, because the legs cover this area up in helicopter mode. It's pretty unfortunate to have that painted white because it will get chipped off. So I actually think I'm going to just leave the crotch here, this blue color. It doesn't really make that much of a difference for me. But you can see that they try to imitate the color scheme here on the arms. It's basically the same as the original figure, and the knees are a little bit lighter color, and there are a couple of more differences in colors regarding the helicopter modes. I will show that later. Now I actually also have the box for this figure, and you can see some pictures of the box art right here. It has a very nice picture or drawing of Highbrow. I think this is not the original drawing that they used in the Titan's Return boxes. I don't remember how that looked like, but I really like this one. It looks nice. On the back of the box you can see basically how he transforms, and and what other figures are available from WeiJiang. Now, improvements in robot mode, you might have already seen that on the original figure you cannot close these little flaps of propellers, and on the WeiJiang they made this joint here, so these propellers can actually close and open, and it just gives you a different, more streamlined robot mode when it comes to the legs. Also on the WeiJiang figure, the parts of the lower legs is made of die-cast, or actually most of the lower legs is die-cast. I think this part is die-cast and this part is plastic. I can't really tell. It gives the figure quite a nice heft, and feels very nice and heavy. Also on the WeiJiang figure they gave very tight ratchets at the crotch area, which is also always really nice. On the original figure this was also kind of ratcheted, but not as tight at all as the WeiJiang figure is. Keep in mind, this is not a badly designed toy, it's not loose, it doesn't come loose or anything, but the knockoff is a very nice, tight and well put together figure. The other big improvement they made is that these helicopter blades are now articulated. So if you take a look at the original one, these are not articulated. You cannot close them, otherwise you'll break them. So they are just standing like this in robot mode, which is a little bit awkward. I really like the fact that these are now closable, so it's not like that big of a kibble on the back. Well, still he has a big one here, but at least the blades are closable now. Unfortunately they didn't fix the hollow lower legs. That's because it needs the space for the transformation. I mean, they could have added some little doors here to close this up, but they didn't, so that's a bummer. I was really hoping they would fix that with the oversized knockoff, but they didn't. Well, articulation and transformation is the same as the original figure. Let's take a little bit of a closer look of the head sculpt. As you can see, it's pretty much identical to the original figure in colors and also in sculpt. However, I think the original has a little bit more pronounced mouth. This one just looks like they either used too much paint and covered up most of the detailing of the mouth, or you know, they just didn't use that good of a mold when they were designing it. Anyway, that's a slight difference, but other than that, these two figures are basically the same. Titan Master looks like this compared to the original. The knockoff has a little bit of a weird face. I don't know if I can show it. Well, yeah, it's about the same as the original. Only the visors are maybe not as pronounced, but it's about the same figure, only bigger. Unfortunately, the knockoff also didn't fix the problem this figure had with the connecting port for the Titan Master. So the port is sort of loose. It holds just enough, but you can very easily just snap the head out of it. I think that problem comes because this peg here for the helicopter, if this is pegged into the port, I think this opens up the port too much, and then it becomes too loose for the head. So I think this figure is really not recommended to be kept in alt mode, otherwise that port will be really loose. And it's the same issue with the original one actually, so it's not the Chaos fault. I mean, yeah, I think it's just wobbly. Some of these Titans Return figures have this problem, and I don't really know how to fix it. I figured if I'm plugging the head in differently, then it's a little bit better, but it still comes off very easily. So let's move on to the transformation. Now, when it comes to alt modes, they really made some baffling design choices with these figures. And what I'm talking about is that on the original he has these guns that have these little fake wheels, and they form sort of a landing gear if you put the guns on in this position, but this requires you to use the guns in this port, which is a hexagonal shape, and this peg, which is, I don't even know what kind of shape this is. It fits into the hexagonal port quite well, but only in this position, so you can't mix up the guns, otherwise they won't fit. And the guns have a lot of other positions they can go to. Most logical for me would be just to have this round shaped peg in here, which it does, but then in this case the fake wheel will not be facing down, so it won't form a landing gear. Same if you put it here, it's not forming a landing gear. It looks like a cool gun, but it won't hold up the vehicle. Also, you can put it here. In this case, it does form a landing gear, but then in this case all the wheels will be up front and your helicopter would just sit on the ground like some kind of frog. So I really don't know why they did this, and because they did this, the oversized version actually cannot use the guns as landing gears, because for some reason this peg was maybe oversized a little bit more than the rest of the figure, and it really doesn't fit into this peg hole like it's supposed to, not at all. So the only way you can fit it here is through the round peg, but in that case the wheel won't be facing down. So that's a bit of a bummer. Of course this one has also got the other landing gear, and also because this one is way more back heavy, basically this whole back section is metal, it's really hard to put him in a landed position other than this. So that's a negative for the KO, definitely. Other differences you see here, of course, that's an Autobot symbol that I put here, but the KO version was lacking this red stripes going down, and also these back helicopter blades are not painted like they are on the original. I'm planning to paint them eventually, and I gave him a little bit of detailing with this silver running down on the sides. For some reason the knockoff version has these red stripes painted on, where the original version is just plain white. And another problem with the knockoff version is that the arms don't really tab into these ports. Like, they tab in here just nicely, but they don't really tab here at the point which was the knee of the original robot mode, so it just tends to come loose. It's not such a big problem, I think. First of all, because this helicopter mode is easily one of the weakest alt modes in the Titans Return line. but also because the original wasn't holding that firm either, so it at least pegs in a little bit better. And another difference, big difference, was that the whole cockpit section of the knockoff is just colored red. It only has the red color, whereas the original one has this white detailing going on. I really like it. I think this is my favorite part of this whole helicopter mode. I really like the big see-through cockpit with this white detailing going on, and because of that I just had to make my own detailings on the knockoff versions, so that's why I painted the window or the cockpit windows this way. I used silver instead of white, but I was aiming for the same kind of aesthetic that the original one had. For some reason this section is also silver on the knockoff, which was just plain blue on the original. Guns are the same, and they also combine the same. So you can have this double-barreled huge gun sticking out of your chopper mode, and you can have another oversized Titan Master sitting in it if you want. This one is Greg's from Skull Cruncher. So altogether I like this figure. I like it better than the original, just based on its size. The improvements they made are nice, however they definitely could have done more. Still, I think they made a very mediocre figure slightly better, so that's already an improvement there. Thank you for watching my review, stay tuned for the next one, take care and bye bye.